I don't know if it's club 22nd meeting. My name is Carrie Stuffer, and I am this year's president of the Rotary Club of Raleigh. It's great to see all your Rotarians and guests here today. Welcome to everybody on Zoom. I know we have Rotarians and guests on Zoom. Thank you for joining us. Before we get started on our great meeting, we've got a wonderful meeting in store. I'd like to invite up Tommy Pelliver, the club administration chair, to lead us in an invocation and pledge.
All pleasure to see you here today. Glad everybody came out a little bit older than we thought, but still happy to have everybody here. So if you bow your heads, we'll do an invocation, then we'll follow that up. Lord, for friends, food, fun, and fellowship, especially in fellowship Rotary, we give our sincere thanks. May these tokens of our bounty nourish our physical bodies in preparation for the challenges that are ours to live. Keep us always mindful of the needs of others. Keep us always attuned to our calling and our role here at Rotary. We ask these things in the name of your eternal truth. Amen. Amen. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands. Oh, beautiful stage sky, for and waves of grain, for mountains and sea, of the fruited plain. America, America, and shedding grace on thee, and crown thy from sea to shining sea.
All right. We have some returning guests here today and some first-time guests, and I would love to pass the microphone around. Start with you, David, and stand up and introduce yourselves. I mean, go ahead. We're the only guests at this table, and then we'll walk around to the other table. Whatever else you want to share.
David, beyond the California Health Care for being able to support you. I spoke with you guys a few weeks ago, and now I'm going to say yes.
Well, if you leave this event for free, visiting you guys. Hey, that's right over here.
Hi, everybody. I'm Weston with Please Welcome here. I was a guest here about a month ago. Here for my first reading. Thank you.
Wonderful. When you'll be back up front a little bit, a little more about you.
Hello, I'm Tamir Stanley, Regional Manager for Self-Help Credit Union, returning guest, and I'm here supporting Amy and her minute.
Welcome. Oh, I am so sorry. I met you in the parking lot and then.
I'm Michael Bright. I'm junior side of that. I'm retired as a beer executive most of the way.
Welcome, Mike. Thank you for visiting. Okay. I think that's all the guests we have over here. Did I forget anyone? No. Oh, wonderful. Tom Holder as a guest.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Manning. I work for First Bank, and I guess my good friend and colleague, Tom Holder. I'm proud of the state alone. So after a year with Mike Lennon today, I've been back up to Rotary and the Morrisville Rotary Club for approximately 6 years. So it's good to be back on the streets.
Welcome back. Thank you for coming. And I know there are a couple of other new faces here and a few more guests on Zoom, but we will hear from them in a little bit. So Frank McNally, it is time for Happy Dollars, and I walk the microphone over to him. Don't forget the red button in the middle of the table for Dementia Alliance of North Carolina. That change goes to the support research and dementia. So Happy Dollar time.
All right.
Hey, John here. I think it's probably the presentation a little later, but I have the privilege privilege of going to the RDU airport on Wednesday to meet with Gideon and to welcome his wife, Yasika, his 5-year-old son Seth, and his 3-year-old daughter Heather to the United States for the first time. They've been on an international flight for 36 hours. It's the first time they ever left their country. And it was such a happy, warming thing to our heart. So thank you to those in the club that helped support the funding for the tickets for the family. It's a good thing.
I am very, very happy that our speaker here designed football to go along with the now sad and late great Roman Gabriel, Philip Rivers, and every other esteemed quarterback that my fine university has produced.
Very good. Thank you, thank you. All right, Rotary, this is our service week. Today is her birthday. I want to say happy birthday.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you for all those happy dollars. Lots to be happy about today. All right. Upcoming meetings. Next week, we have Joe Lazio from the Regional Transportation Alliance. The next week, our own Daniel Raleigh will talk to us about neighborhood health clinic, of which he is CEO. And then the week after that, we have Masha Maddox, who is a Ukrainian dancer, who's going to tell her story of learning how to dance in Ukraine over here to the United States, and now her work with the Lake Forest Dance Festival. So here is what John Keats talked about, and this was the picture I imagine, John, that you got of Gideon and his wonderful wife and 2 children, thrilled to be on land after 36 hours. So it's quite a trip, especially with two young kids. So there they are, and they are going to be in the United States for the rest of his time over here. So fantastic. Let's give John and the other women really help. And we will be hearing from Gideon on May 20th. He's going to come speak to us about his research. So hopefully, maybe we'll get to meet some of his family as well. There is a Boys and Girls Golf Tournament. This is the 18th annual golf tournament benefiting Boys and Girls Home. That will be on June 3rd. If you are interested in golfing, Pete, can you raise your hand? See Pete Jacoby. And see how to get on the Raleigh Rotary team. I understand there's just a few spots left for team 1.
I think if we get 2 more, we'll have 2 teams.
2 more people, their Raleigh Rotary will have 2 teams. So anybody interested, go see Pete. All right. District news. The district conference is coming up in mid-May. There's still time to register. We are also collecting donations for a Rotary Club of Raleigh basket, which will be given out at the conference. And this is a great opportunity to highlight the business. So if you have any donations that you would like to donate to that, please bring them in before May 13th. Okay, so this meeting today, we have a chance to talk about and recognize a very special member of the Raleigh community. This is going to be our 9th annual Wilson Hayden Vocational Service Leadership Award. Mark Hackett, 9 years ago, Mark, where'd you go? There he is. He's going to come up front in a little bit, started this initiative, and it has just taken off. And it is a great way to recognize people in the community that have given back, not only through their professional lives, but also their service. So before we learn more about this year's VSLA winner, I'd like to give a little bit of a background about our VSLA award, Vocational Service Leadership Award. And up on the screen, you will see a picture of Wilson Beeman. To the left is Wilson and his wonderful wife, Ginny. Wilson was a longtime member of the club, and in this introduction, you'll hear a little bit more about him. If you had a chance to meet Wilson, he's just one of the most kindest, loving people that you would ever meet. He left us way too soon. So with that, let's read a little or hear a little bit about a background of this VSLA board. And then going to invite some Jim Dorsett and Duncan Jennings up to introduce this year's awardee. The driving force of Rotary is service above self. Vocational service is the second pillar of Rotary's 4 avenues of service. The concept of vocational service in Rotary calls on Rotarians to encourage and foster 3 key principles. 1, high ethical standards in business and professions. 2, the recognition of the worthiness of all useful occupations. And 3, the dignifying of each Rotarian's occupation as an opportunity to serve society. Annually, for the past 8 years, the Rotary Club of Raleigh has awarded the Wilson Heyman Vocational Service Leadership Award, or VSLA, to a worthy community leader. The purpose of this award is to recognize non-Rotarians in the community who exemplify integrity and high ethical standards in their vocation and use their vocational talents to serve the community. Nominations can only be made by active members of the Rotary Club of Raleigh. In 2021, we renamed the award the Wilson Heyman Vocational Service Leadership Award in memory of our dear friend Wilson Heyman. Wilson was a past president and a distinguished longtime member of our club who passed away too soon a few years ago. He is held in such high esteem by us that it was decided to name this award after him. While his wife Jenny isn't able to join us today, join us in person this year, we once again thank her for sharing Wilson with us for so many years. Past VSLA award recipients have included Dr. Max McMillan, Dr. Lawrence J. Wheeler, the late J. Gregory Poole Jr., Dr. William Dunlap, Doug McMillan, Ben Moore, Printed Baker III, and last year's recipient, Dr. Joseph Gordon. This year, as in the past, we've had many excellent nominees submitted by club members. All nominees have qualities that exemplify Rotary's motto of service above self. First, I want to thank all of those who submitted names and profiles for consideration. The VSLA Executive Review Board had a very difficult task to decide on the award recipient. I thank the Executive Review Board members for their commitment and diligence in selecting this year's award recipient. In addition to the current club president, the board included 5 past club presidents. The VSLA award recipient receives a Rotary Club of Raleigh crystal plaque, was awarded a Paul Harris Fellow, which includes a pin, medallion, and certificate, and also have a donation made to the charity of his or her choice. The 2024 Rotary Club of Raleigh Wilson Heyman Vocational Service Leadership Award recipient has a very long history of exemplary service above self to the Raleigh community. For the first time ever, the recipient's name was submitted by not just 1, but 2 club members. I invite both Jim Dorsett and Duncan Jennings to the podium to introduce our 2024 Wilson Heyman VSLA recipient.
Thank you so much, Gary. This is my pleasure to introduce Joe for the second time. He came and spoke to us a couple of years ago, almost to the day, which is crazy. I didn't get a chance to introduce Joe that much last time because we had him as a guest speaker, a full slate, including this award, and same thing today. So it'll have to be an abbreviated award, really extensive biography. To start with, family is critical all of the year, and probably no more so than Joe's family. Joe's got 2 birth children, 2 adopted children, and 85 foster children, which says probably a lot about you making one of those. So thank you for all you've done, Joe. Joe and his wife are also members of Western Boulevard Presbyterian. He serves as ruling elder, sings with the praise team, and the chancel choir, and serves as a youth mission team leader, and is a mentor of the confirmation class. Like all good Presbyterians, he's also been on about 12, 15 committees about what time to list here. They also volunteer in support of the purple, growing food co-op. Which is working with the grocery and food desk from Southeast Raleigh. And as a regular volunteer in public space cleanup, and, as an avid reader, radio player, which here is professional bio in gym, all about the later. And in addition, enjoys, camp gladiator, running, yoga, and many other activities. With that, I'll turn it over to Jeremy to talk about flows and fishes and shows and some of this progression.
Thank you, Duncan. I wasn't familiar with Joe singing, so I'm looking forward to that at some point, Joe. But I've had the opportunity to work with Loaves and Fishes over the years, and so I'd like to say a few words about that. So Joe Brewmester was a partner with KPMG and a senior executive with a number of international software consulting startup companies. And so, he could have continued to be a senior executive with firms like that, internationally, globally. But Joe wanted to do more to give back to the community. So he has chosen for the last decade to devote his executive and many talents to the Loaves and Fishes Ministry in Raleigh. Loaves and Fishes Ministry was founded in 1982, and it's a program that works with at-risk children in the community. And these are children that typically come from broken and impoverished homes. These are children that are having behavioral and academic problems in school, to the point that they are identified by the teachers or school administrators as being at risk. So these are at-risk children. So Loaves and Fishes takes these children and works with them on a one-on-one basis, daily, year-round, in a holistic approach, mind, body, and spirit, teaching them academic skills, life skills, so they can become productive members of society and escape the cycle of poverty that we see. And Joe will talk more about this, I'm sure, but I mean, they have an incredible success rate. 85% of these kids go on to high school and complete high school, and of those, 90% go on to college. Some of these come back and work with the program. So I mean, it's just an exceptional program. They work not only with the kids, but with the whole thing. So I can't think of a more deserving recipient for this year's award than Joe Burmester, who's devoted his talents, his time, to serving these children and their families. So with that, I'd like to call President Carey back for a presentation, and then we'll have Joe say a few words.
Joe Burmester, would you join us up front, please? We have a few things to present you with. First of all, it's our beautiful plaque, and just make sure you hold on to it and put it on cloud. And this is our 9th annual one we've been given, so yes, Duncan, step into it, please. Can everybody give Joe a round of applause? Very well deserved. Thank you, Joe, for all that you've done in the Raleigh community. And then, thank you, Jim, and Duncan. Joe, don't run away yet. Okay, perfect. Oh, you can drop it. Yeah, you don't. Another thing that we would like to present you with is a check for $500 to Loaves and Fishes Ministry. So thank you so much for all that you've done through there, and then all of that your team does in their work for Loaves and Fishes. We have a giant check right here. You can't take that one to the bank, but I do have one that can be deposited. Here is the real deal right there. The real deal. And Joe, we have one more thing before we would love to hear from you, and you would introduce our guest. Mark Hackett is going to come up and talk about our home care fellowship.
Thank you, President Carey. So as part of the Vocational Service Leadership Award, Rotary, we also present, as Carrie said, the Paul Harris Scholarship. Rotary's Paul Harris Scholarship program established in 1957 and named after one of Rotary's founders, recognizes individuals who contribute or who have contributions made in their name, $1,000 to the Rotary International Foundation. These contributions support an annual fund, Polio Plus, or the Queen Foundation grant. Giving to the Rotary International Foundation by Paul Harris Fellows support families and change lives. A small sample of projects include, first, vocational training for teachers, establishing early childhood education center in South Africa. Another is for water filters, toilets, and hygiene training to prevent disease in India. Another is a scholarship for a medical professional in Italy to research treatments that minimize mortality rates among premature babies. Another is peace building seminars for 200 teachers and 1,300 students in Uganda. And one more will mention treated mosquito nets and medical services that prevent malaria in Raleigh. Many notable figures have been named Paul Harris Fellows, including U.S. President Jimmy Carter, Russian President Boris Yeltsin, U.S. astronaut James Lovell, and polio vaccine developer Jonas Salk. As part of the 2024 Wilson Haven Vocational Service Leadership Award, our club has made a $1,000 contribution to the Rotary International Foundation in the name of this year's recipient. As is custom, I will now ask members to stand and recognize the newest Paul Harris Fellow recipient, Joseph Burmester, while our president presents him the award.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sue, we do one more.
Good thing they don't use film anymore.
Mark Hackett, before you sit down, as I said briefly, Mark was the initiator of this fantastic award, and this is his last year on Rotary Club Raleigh board before he hands us off. Before he hands it off to Frank McNally. Can we all stand again and give Mark Hackett a round of applause for all his amazing work? Like Joe, it would be an honor to hear from you and have you introduce our guest and for you to say a few words to us.
Thank you very much. Jim reminded me before this started that I need to recognize my wife. So I will. This is my wife, Becky. Robert and Leslie. Somewhere listening in is my youngest daughter, Rita, and my oldest son, Matthew, from the state of Washington. Also, would like to introduce Kiana Williams. Kiana works with me at Rotary. And in fact, Kiana, when she was a kindergarten, started Los Ambitious as one of our students, went all the way through. It is now our lead classroom facility. The Carrie building had a maximum of 25 minutes. Oh, no, that was 25. When I look at the other recipients of this award, I am very humbled, and I appreciate the nomination from Jim and Duncan, and the selection as the award winner this year. That's amazing. They gave a little background. I need to tell you that if you didn't know, God is very patient, and God has a great sense of humor. So when I was a young man, I got married at 22. I did not realize at that point that a man's brain is not fully developed until 26. But we survived that, and we have now been married 55 years. When I had some goals in mind when I was a young man, one of them was I am the oldest of 4 kids. I didn't want any kids, no kids. I wanted to make a lot of money. I wanted to do cool things and travel. I wanted to retire by age 50. So God was patient with me, said, okay, you go down that path as far as you want, and then I'll steer you another direction. So you heard how many kids we now have. I didn't retire at 50, but I will be retiring soon. May 31st, I am retiring as executive director at Los Ambitious, but they won't let me leave. So I'm going to hang around under the new executive director and the existing team because we're going to do something very exciting in a minute. But that means instead of 50 years old, I will be 78 years old. Whatever, it's been great. And in fact, the last 10 years that I've worked at Los Ambitious, it is the least money I have ever made, the most fun I have ever had, extremely rewarding. It's been awesome. I could not ask for a better 10-year segment of my career. Los Ambitious, as Jim told you, we've been around since 1982, so it's 42 years. Somehow, record keeping is not that great. We have served between 300 and 400 kids. That doesn't sound like as many as you might expect in 42 years, but here's why. If a child starts working with us in kindergarten, we will work with them all the way through high school. So we have lots of kids that we've worked with for 10, 12, 13 years, and there's no charge to the family. The families that our kids come from really can't afford to have other services. One of the things I want to make sure you know, Jim explained, a lot of our kids have issues in the school. They may be academically challenged, they may be having behavior issues, but when you understand what they've gone through as kids, it changes how you think about them. There's something called adverse childhood experiences. And those are traumatic things that happen to kids. And, you know, when you have enough trauma, it actually changes physically the structure of your brain. There's a lot of research that backs that up and explains it. So if one of our kids is having some behavior issues, and sometimes that happens, doesn't it? Sometimes, instead of approaching it as, why did you do that? It's more, what's happened to you? And then we help the kids understand that there are different ways to respond when things don't go well. That's really more important than learning to being successful in life. But we want them to know that they're going to have to make a living, get a job, and raise their own kids. So we're trying to break those cycles
where our kids can be successful citizens. Anyway, I am excited to tell you that one of the things we are going to be doing here, coming up soon, and Duncan is well aware of this because he's on our board now. We are going to be merging another organization into Los Efficients. It's an organization that's been around for 25 years. And once that happens, we will be serving all at the same time 90 kids. So it will dramatically increase our reach in the community. Most of the kids from this other organization are Hispanic, Spanish-speaking kids. One of the things that we're going to be doing with that organization, besides putting them all together, they only work with their kids 2 days a week. We work 4 days a week. Their kids meet 4 days a week, and they know that. The other thing that we are going to do is be very interesting and challenging. We always work with the families. Their families, many of them don't speak English. So that will be a challenge that we have to face together. But we're excited that that will happen. The official date will probably be July 1st. We're already, in fact, the last 2 years, we've done things together with our kids. So we're really excited about it. Again, I am humbled and thankful. The $500 check will go to good use. It was to my favorite charity. There was no question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe, and all of that, thank you guys for coming as well. So Tommy Keller, we do raffle, and then Richard Adred, quick update on the service, and then Harrison, our 2 first readings. All right, enough time.
We are popping today, so we're gonna do this rapid fast. Carrie, and winter, when I tell you guys we got a hot pot, I mean it, we got a hot pot today, we got a little over $100 to give away to today's winner. So if you bought a ticket, pick the right week. I got 800 295 There we go.
Congratulations, and thank you to everyone of you, and support the raffle. All right, Richard.
Hey folks, Richard Nader, Service Chair. Last Saturday, we had a great street cleanup. What was great about it is we didn't pick up as much as we have in the past, not because it was there. Maybe not because we didn't have enough people there, a lot of people, but there wasn't that much trash there. So I feel like we're making a significant impact. And, you know, there's some folks that live across the creek, I think they realized that we're making this impact, so it was awesome. We had a unique contest, find the most unique piece of trash. We found this beautiful framed photograph that John found, so congratulations, thank you much. You're one of a $50 gift card from this establishment. Thank you very much. One quick story I wanted to share real quick. So what part of this program this year, the city will actually bring a wagon to unload of all this trash. So they were running late, so that guy came up and the guy was looking at me, waiting for him. Meanwhile, Suki had a flat tire, so back and forth to help him and help to them. So, you know, so all of a sudden, John Cates comes out of nowhere, it's convertible, and says, y'all need some help. John pops out, fixes the tire, and I did that, so service is going to sell. Thank you very much for doing that. One more last thing, this is National Volunteer Week. As we're tearing all y'all volunteers, thank you very much for your service. And I know many people in this club do organizations beyond our, you know, the John Lucas Special Olympics. You know, Reagan does a lot of work with our city in the past, and of course Kevin with his work. And just thank you for being volunteers. Speaking of Kevin and Judy, we're having a walk, dementia walk on Sunday. I texted Heather Hoover, see what she said. It's a little wet, still drying out. It went great. Thank you for your service. And we appreciate you, all you do for our community on National Volunteer Week. Give yourself a hand. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. All right, Harrison.
Thank you so much, Gary. Hello, everyone. My name is Harrison Turner. For those who don't know me, I am the membership chair for the Raleigh. So happy you're here today. Real quick, I was born in Southern Baptist, so we have the saying, well, at least in my church that I went to growing up, it was meet, greet, and eat. That's what Southern Baptists are good at. Rotary is that. You meet, you greet, you eat. But it's more than that. There's a lot of good work that we're doing in the community, and there's a lot of people here that are not currently connected to a Rotary group. We would love to have you be part of a Rotary family, so you can do more impact for our community. We are growing our family. We have 2 first readings today, as I'm excited about. First, we have Weston Moore, who is sponsored by his soon father-in-law, Dave Evans. Wes was born and raised in Raleigh, North Carolina, and attended Wakefield High School. He received his undergraduate degree in business marketing from ECU, but received his master's in business administration from the University of Florida. He now serves as the community relations manager for Griswold Home Care. In his free time, he enjoys golfing and watching movies. Fun fact, Wes has had the privilege of serving as a caddy at Pinehurst. Wes is very excited to have, we're very excited to have Wes as a potential member and look forward to getting to know him more. Please connect with him after the meeting. It's going to be a great impact for our club. We also have Dr. Joe Shepard. Joe's been at 12 meetings here. He's being sponsored by Richard Watkins. And he serves as the Director of Executive Compliance for the Alliance Management Group, which offers human resources to commercial real estate offices and general contractors who are seeking compliance with state diversity regulations for approval and construction. He received his doctorate in religious anthropology in 2017 from the University of Cambridge. In addition to his work at AMG, Dr. Shepard serves as the Director of Community Relations for the North Carolina University Chamber of Commerce. And he's also an author of several books that focus on leadership and emotional intelligence. In his free time, Dr. Shepard likes to travel, which allows him to learn about other cultures. And he said that he's learning how to golf. Good connection here. There we go. So please, also, I've been able to connect with both of these men, and they are wonderful men that have really cool backgrounds and are going to do great things for our club. So please, round of applause for Dr. Joe Shepard.
Thank you, Harrison. Oh, and we also have a service social this Thursday at STIR. Address is on the board. Also, Harrison, I love the what was it, meet, eat, and greet? Meet, greet, and eat. I'm a Presbyterian, so I love things that happen in threes, so great. All right, birthdays and anniversaries, and as we're doing this, Tom Holder, could you come up front to introduce our speaker? So happy birthday, Georgette, I saw you up there, happy birthday, and then Taylor Dewberry. And then happy anniversary, Duncan and actually Jenny, there's 20, Duncan, I hope you remember that, it's a big one. Congrats.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is exciting turnout today, beautiful day, etc. It is my privilege to introduce Mike Clinton. Mike is a native of Centerville, Virginia, and comes from a sports active family. In 2008, Virginia Gatorade Player of the Year and the Great Magazine High School All-American. Mike enrolled at my beloved NC State, where he played for Wolfpack from 2008 to 2012. As a junior in 2011, he took over as our starter. For the 2011 season, he had over 3,000 passing yards and 31 touchdowns. In 2012, his senior season with the Wolfpack, he completed 330 passes out of 564 attempts for over 4,000 yards and another 31 TD season. Many of you know my fanaticism for the Wolfpack. My wife Jill knows when the football calendar comes out, those are important days to put down on our own calendar and circle. Jill and I have 4 children who went to state. One went to Orange County Community College and one went to East Carolina. And those are the dates we just have to make sure we're there. 2 quick games that are special for our family. February 26, 2011, we had Maryland at home and Carter Finley. That was a tough day for the Wolfpack. We started out digging kind of a deep hole for ourselves. And it started the 4th quarter, it looked really bleak. There were a lot of empty seats in that stadium. In our house, our 4 children, good, bad, or different. Jill, what's up with it? We don't leave the game early, good or bad. And under Mike's leadership that day with his teammates, we scored 35 points in the 4th quarter and won 56 to 41. The other one I'll highlight, October 16, 2012, Mike's senior season, we had Florida State at home, and we were playing Florida State number 3. We were down at the half, dug a hole, not as deep as Maryland, thank God. But we came back and won 17-16 under his leadership and the speed backs. Bottom line, I will not believe they whooped that game early. Well, you don't have the moments that I had with some of my family. Joe got over it. After college, Mike was drafted in the third round of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He went on to play 10 seasons in the NFL with the Buccaneers, the Chicago Bears, Arizona Cardinals, Oakland Raiders, Jacksonville Jaguars, the New York Giants, and Miami Dolphins in the draft. Today, Mike makes his home in the Triangle. He's a commercial real estate broker with Lee and Associates, specializing in land and real estate investment. Mike has his undergraduate and master's degrees from NC State. Is married to beautiful Jess. They have 3 beautiful, adorable children. I've seen the time to Bicycle Beach, and they make their home here. It is indeed my honor to present Wolfpack Royalty, Mike Lennon.
Thank you very much, Kyle, and you read all that. Well, but I'm just gonna kind of tell a little bit about my journey. So, both my parents are from New Jersey. My dad worked for Exxon, so I was actually born in Houston. We moved back to, or we moved to New Jersey, we moved back to Houston again. And then Exxon and Mobil merged when I was 10 years old, so we moved to Virginia. From a town called Centerville, Virginia. It's about 30 minutes outside of DC in Fairfax County. I have 2 older siblings, an older brother and an older sister. My older brother was a quarterback at Virginia Tech, so I looked up to him my whole life, followed his footsteps, and from his experience at Virginia Tech, I wanted to find this, it taught me to find a school that kind of best prepare me to go to the NFL. And Tom O'Brien was the coach at Boston College, and I was being recruited by them. And I didn't love the idea of going north versus coming south. And then Tom O'Brien was named head coach at NC State in 2007. So I was a junior in high school. So then immediately I was like, okay, I can either drive 4 hours south to NC State to Raleigh and go by first coach, or I can go north, which I didn't want to do. So I ended up, visiting NC State, and as a quarterback, there's only one guy on the field, so it's not like some of these other positions like receiver or whatever. We just kind of, if you're good, you're gonna play. Quarterback, there's only one guy, so they're telling me about the quarterback situation. Actually, a Raleigh native, Raleigh guy, Dave Levins, was turning starter, and they're like, he'll play a year, and you'll redshirt and kind of take over. And we do have this guy that Chuck Amato recruited. He's more of a baseball player. His name is Russell Wilson. He's a 2-star recruit out of Virginia, up from Virginia. I never even heard of him. So I was like, okay, well, quickest path to getting on the field is going to be to go to NC State. So and they also have a great history of big quarterbacks in the NFL. They just come from Boston College when they put Matt Ryan. I think the 3rd pick in the draft to the Falcons. So I said, this makes a lot of sense for me to go here. Immediately came down. I still remember like it was yesterday. I pulled up to the Murphy Center, saw the wolf statues out front. I was with my family on spring break. We kind of hit all the Carolina schools, and immediately just kind of felt like home. So I committed before my senior year, and Russell's already on campus, and there started to be a little buzz about this guy. But coach, of course, didn't tell me how good of a player he was. I get into school here, and I was like, man, it's getting pretty good. So my true freshman year, it was basically a competition, Daniel Evans, Russell, and myself. And the first scrimmage I come out, I played really good. And I remember Brian told me up to all this, he said, are you ready? Are you ready to start? And I didn't know. I mean, I just, not a problem. Like 2 months before, I didn't know much to do. Started, college football. It's for you to decide to get a coach. But anyway, he was like, if you play the way you did, I don't think you could be here very long anyway. So the next scrimmage, they had me start, and I didn't play all that well as I was, adjusting to college football. Ultimately, they go with Russell as the starting quarterback, and Russell was a phenomenal player. I sat on the bench for 3 years behind him, but about 2 years later, Russell told me that after that first scrimmage, that O'Brien pulled him in his office as well and said, we think we want to make you a safety. And he
said, give me one more shot at quarterback and I'll do what's best for the team. And like I said, I went on to struggle, but it's crazy to think now. I actually remember that next year they had to do punt returns. Crazy to think what his career has become, and they were close to switching his position to play safety. So then, you know, as Russell's playing really well, I'm starting to wonder, man, this guy's only a year older. So I had one spot for quarterback. How am I going to get on the field? You know, Ryan kind of told me all along, you know, Russell's going to do. He's going to go play baseball. You'll have 2 years to start. Russell will go play baseball every spring, and then he'd come back. It was kind of like this game of, is he going to come back? Is he not? Well, then one day, it was January, I still remember as football players, we don't get to go out very often because we're so busy with the season, but we had just gotten back from the bowl game. We played West Virginia, the Champs Sports Bowl, Russell was the quarterback. So I finally got to go out there in the week, like a college student, and I remember, if anyone with the front runners, in the bar. And the next morning, when Ryan calls me in the office, and they basically told me, we're going to make you start a quarterback. I was surprised. Nowadays, I probably would have, you know, transferred just because the guy got to go whatever he wanted. He told me that I was going to be starting quarterback. We started Russell, transferred to Wisconsin, and I was fortunate enough to start here for 2 years. Loved NC State, everything about it. Then after playing at NC State, you mentioned some of those good games, Maryland and Florida State. Maryland game, we got down 27 points. And it still irks me that we got, they were like, well, I think 2-9, it was last game of the season. We needed to win to go to a bowl game. We're down 27 points to this team that was 2-9. Miraculously, we came back and won, and that was a great memory in Florida State. They came to town, it was Saturday night, ESPN primetime game. Number 3 team we cut 3, and we knocked them off with a touchdown. About 15 seconds left. Probably the biggest adrenaline rush of my life was here at Carter Big Stadium. The crowd, the noise was incredible. Anyway, I go on to quick draft story. It's NFL draft week this week. People always kind of ask what's your draft story, and I had worked out for the Cardinals. Their GM was an NC State grad, got NXT time. So the first day of the draft, I didn't think I was going to go first round. The second day comes, I get a call from Arizona in the morning, basically saying, "Where are you going to be flying out of?" So I tell them, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm going to be drafted by Arizona in the second round. At worst, the third round. Second round comes and goes, and I think they ended up trading the pick. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to Arizona. Third round comes. They drafted, I don't know if I ever retired, Matthew Honeyback at LSU. So I start like, oh my gosh, I don't know where to go. And about 10 minutes later, phone call says Clearwater, Florida. And I'm like, pick up the phone, it's Tampa Bay. I had not talked to them at all at the draft process, so I did not have them on mind at all. So I get drafted by Tampa Bay, go down there and actually start 13 games. My rookie year really was probably the best year of my career. Another quarterback was Aaron Orlovsky. He was backup, and you probably see him on TV now. I don't know, a lot of guys here, Wise watched The Bachelor. The third quarterback was Jordan Rogers. Aaron Rodgers' brother ended up marrying the Bachelorette. He was on the show. So with Tampa, I started that year. The next year, they brought in a guy named Josh McCown. And me and him kind of split time. We finished last in the league. We had the first pick of the draft. We finished last in the league. Usually you're taking the quarterback. So they drafted Jameis Winston, and people always ask me about Jameis Winston. Jameis is one of the hardest working, best teammates I've ever had. He's what you see on TV is not for the cameras. Some guys try to do things for the cameras. He's authentic, phenomenal teammate. Anything the coach asks him to do, he would do. So I really enjoyed my time with Jameis. And then I go on to Chicago. You know, they bring me in to be the starting quarterback, and you know, leading up to the draft, I'm just asking, I'm the starting quarterback. Who are you guys thinking about taking in the first round? There's talks of Christian McCaffrey. There's talks of all these other guys. So they have a draft party at Soldier Field at the stadium. I go down to it. There were a bunch of players. They're probably 10 sitting in a room waiting to kind of do a fan interactive deal. And it's the Bears pick, third pick overall, they trade up to number 2. So in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, we're about to draft for sure. Yeah, this is great. Well, all of a sudden, Project Adavius up there, you know, with the second pick, Chicago Bears select Mitchell Trubisky, Carolina. And I'm like, not only is it the quarterback, it's Carolina quarterback. And I just feel the whole room really excited, everyone's eyes go in. And I'm like, I have no idea. So I just moved into a house, I was still over here, that I never buy right away. I always rent, and I've lived here in Austin, so we rent. When I was playing, we come back here and live in Austin. Well, they signed me to a solid contract, so I bought a house. And I remember going back to the house that day, we didn't even have a bed yet, I was sleeping on the floor. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna be selling this house the rest of the year. So once they take the quarterback that high, I mean, I knew what my future held, so I started a couple games, didn't play great. Mitch took over. Mitch is a good guy, even though he's retiring a lot, and I really enjoyed him. Mitch. Next year I go to Arizona, following year I go to Oakland, and then I had John Gruden. John Gruden is one of the funniest guys I've ever been around, the best football mind. He's absolutely a genius, and the meeting rooms were hilarious, but playing for him was different. He was so hard, was second guess everything. So it was so much fun when you see him on TV. He's great, but man, playing for him was tough. The next year I ended up in Jacksonville. It was the COVID year. That year I actually went to Jay Gruden, John's brother. He was offensive coordinator. And I'm failing to mention a lot of these years, I was on a lot of losing teams. My year in Arizona, we also finished last in the league. They drafted Kyler Murray. I go to Jacksonville, we win the first game of the season, and then proceed to lose the 15 straight. So then the year after that, I ended up in New York. I met another local North Carolina guy named Jones, 22. Great guy, playing in New York was a lot of fun. Just the bright lights, got to live in Hoboken, right across the city. We used to go over, take the ferry over once a week with my son. He was, I think, 5 years old at the time. We would do some touristy thing. Then every Friday we go as a family and I'd go to some of the nice restaurants in New York. So, and then I was pretty much out the whole year. Ended up the last 2 weeks of the season with Miami Dolphins. Funny story there, I was getting ready to coach my son. I thought ship and sail, my career was done. I was getting to coach my son basketball in Upward. If anyone's kids in Upward basketball, my agent calls me, it's a Monday, the last week of the season, week 18 or whatever. He's like, what are you doing this weekend, guys? Then he's like, you want to go to Miami? I was like, sure. So their starter was Tua, he had a concussion. The backup was Teddy Bridgewater, and just broke the finger, so they're down to the third quarterback. Needed an emergency fourth quarterback, so I flew down there. Well, I will say I did coach my son in Upward, and I was like, all right, I got to go throw. I hadn't thrown in like 2 months, so I called one of the receivers at NC State. I said, hey, can you meet me at the indoor facility? I got to make sure I can still throw it. So went down to Miami, and I say we had a win to make the playoffs. I didn't even feel like I was part of the team. We won, went to the playoffs, the first time in my entire career I reached the playoffs, which was kind of cool, but didn't necessarily feel part of it. Lost to Buffalo. And then that's when I started getting ready for my next career. So I always had an interest in commercial real estate. Had lead associates had a great reputation, so I started with them about a year ago, doing brokerage, and just loved calling Raleigh home. Met my wife at NC State. We now have 3 kids. 7, 5, and 3, 2 boys and a girl. Our oldest boy goes to Brew. Our 2 younger ones go to preschool at St. Michael's. And in all the places that I lived, I was preferred Raleigh. It was the greatest place to live, the greatest family. So it's great being back here, being around NC State, being in the community. And now excited to kind of have something new to wake up to. It's been fun to have a new challenge. Good football, guys, I'll live out my dream. Knew it was going to end at some point, so it's been fun to kind of. So if anyone has any questions, go ahead.
So what kind of advice would you give someone that's considering that transfer and NIL legalization?
Well, yeah, I mean, I see both sides, because to me, in college, you only get 4 to 5 years to play. So to lock someone into a school, you might be in a bad situation, you might have, you know, it could be a situation like me with Russell, or it could be personal. You know, I don't love binding someone to a college, but I also feel like there needs to be somewhat of a commitment. And, you know, for me, it ended up working, like sticking it out, ended up paying off. With the NIL stuff, it's a whole new world now that I think eventually it'll become basically the mini NFL, and these guys will end up getting paid. So we'll see what that future looks like, and part of me thinks it's fair. I mean, I think March Madness brings in over $1 billion a year, players don't see any of it. College football playoff, I think it's the same kind of deal, but at the same time, there is something special about just going out for your university. You know, we didn't think it, we thought it was great go to school and play and getting a scholarship, and we didn't get paid a dollar. So, you know, I don't know what the future holds. It'll be interesting to kind of see.
Like, I'm sure you prepared a lot once you got drafted to go to the NFL. Was there anything that really surprised you about the pro game when you got?
Honestly, I thought the jump from high school to college was greater than college to pros. The speed of the game from high school to college, you go from majority of guys in high school don't go on to play college football, where in college they're all really good athletes, but only, you know, the top ones that go to the NFL. The speed isn't as much. The business side of it, again, from high school to college is good. I mean, once you go from just to me, the best form of football is high school football, playing in your backyard with your friends. There's not really pressure, you know, it's just, you're there to have a good time. To get to college level, those coaches, you know, that's how they provide for your family. It's a business. And then when you get to the NFL, it's cutthroat. And I think the biggest thing when you get to the NFL is one day someone might be in the locker next to you, and the next day he's gone. It's a dog eat dog world. It's a results oriented business. If you're not producing, you're not going to be there. So just seeing that side of it, that although it was a dream come true, and I'm extremely grateful. It's not just playing in the backyard as a 10-year-old pretending you're, you know, Joe Montana or Troy Aikman throwing the Super Bowl and touchdown. There's a lot that goes into it, and a lot of, you know, tough times mentally. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing for me, kind of the career I had, is you, as a backup, you never know when you're going to play, so you always feel like you're playing for your next job. It's hard to just stay in the moment and enjoy it, because it's like, man, this might be the only time I play, so I need to play well for next year. And it's probably not the best outlook, it's just kind of reality. It's hard to just stay in the moment and enjoy it.
So, one of the first pro games I went to was in Tampa Bay. And I remember having gone to so many college games and seeing 100 kids on the sidelines, of seeing such a small number of men on the sidelines. Watching them come out of the locker room, they were like gladiators, like, oh man, you know, I mean, it's so intense. I cannot imagine what it would feel like to be hit by a 300-pound, 40 guy. What was your worst injury?
So, worst injury, that's one of the benefits of being primarily a backup, was I did tear my wrist, right at the end of my time with the Giants. That was the worst injury. The being hit, honestly, some of them that look worse don't hurt at all. It's the ones that it kind of gets you on the hip or the rib, that doesn't look bad, and it hurts the most. But there were times where, or there was a time I remember, if you guys remember Chris Long, sometime long, he was Virginia, top 5 pick to the Rams. He got me once, he slung me. His body hit the ground first, but his knee was up, and my ribs went into his knee, and that, I mean, you're talking weeks of like every breath you take, you're reminded of how that hit. But, you know, I have respect for these guys that play a full season. I mean, it's every, you know, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you're recovering just to get to the next Sunday. But yeah, again, that's why a lot of people say backup quarterback is the best shot in the world. You don't have to deal with those hits week in, week out.
In the different cities you play, I've always enjoyed it. And Montana State, and see the folks get into Mayville, Austin, and we've got a picture of you on Raiders truck in there. Some of my favorite fans, just the Raiders, and is there one group of fans that were just, you never knew they were kind of your favorite, because they took hours to get ready?
Yeah, that's one of the difference between college and the NFL is, honestly, when I first got to the NFL, it's kind of quiet on game day compared to college atmosphere. College atmosphere is way more rowdy, the fans are way more into it. And the NFL, I think it's not on third downs, but other than that, it's not quite as loud. Tampa, not great fan base. Chicago, they're loyal. It's not quite the wild of Oakland, so, but very, you know, they grew up Bears fans. Their parents were Bears fans. Then Oakland, that was their, I mean, it was the Black Hole. I played there the last year in Oakland before they went to Vegas. And you see all the people dressing up. The fan, you know, it is a different fan base out there. But they're great. They're loyal. Almost every day, even in the practice facility, there will be fans waiting outside the gate just to get autographs. Now, these people are probably just turn around and sell them on eBay. But the fans there were really good. Jacksonville, not a great fan base. New York, similar to Chicago, and that people, you know, grew up Giants fans. So all definitely was passionate from that standpoint for the Raiders.
Who's the one player you didn't want to see on the other side?
Great question. So without a doubt, the two most game plan players, with the coaches walking for the very first part of the week to go to the game plan. Whenever we played Donald or Bob Miller, the whole game plan was oriented around those guys, which is crazy. That every play they would want to know where he was and how we're going to count for him. Aaron Donald, for being a defensive tackle, it's unheard of how much the game plan was based around him. But literally every single pass play, it would be accounted. And Bob Miller was simple. Every play, make sure someone was chipping in, making sure two guys were on him, because the whole game plan was do not let Von Miller bear down on the rest of the game.
Fantastic.
What's one thing that you've been able to take from the football field to the business world as you're looking to do?
I think there's a lot. You know, I'm still just getting started. I have lots to learn, but I'm, you know, as a commercial real estate broker, we have these deals. Just last week, you know, I'm starting to see the reality. We work on these deals, work on them, and then they fall through. And last week I had about 4 fall through. I'm just getting, you know, you put all this time and then you get rewarded nothing. And I think for football, the same way. I mean, like I said, I've lost a lot of games. It's like next Sunday's coming. So you gotta get out of bed and you gotta get back to work. And I think that's one of the things is the persistence of showing up every day. Now it's a lot easier showing up to an office than it is being moved out of the stadium. No one's doing me, you know, losing that deal. I have my fair share of getting moved. But I think football teaches you tremendous work ethic, teamwork, leadership as a quarterback. I just think that's been ingrained in me, kind of what you work for. You what you can. You have to put in the work to see the rewards. So there's a lot of parallels. I mean, it's not completely apples to apples, but it's to get to that level to compete against the best every week. There's not much room for error, and I think that has kind of trained me to kind of have that work ethic translating into the business role.
Who's the starting quarterback in the work that you enjoy the most?
Great question. Good thing I'm not being recorded. One. I don't know. I really enjoy a lot of it. That's definitely the people I stay in touch with the most is the quarterbacks. I didn't ever play with someone one that's gonna be a Hall of Famer, likely, like, you know, Peyton Manning or Drew Brees or Tom Brady. It's hard for me, I got just a great guy. I think get along really well with David Jones. He's a great guy, he's quiet by nature, but once you get to know him, he loosens up, and it's really funny. Mark Sanchez was one of the backups when I was in Chicago, and Mark, you know, born over his time with the Jets, probably the most charismatic guy I've ever been around. He was a ton of fun, to be with. Dan Orlovsky, like I said, the guy that you guys see on ESPN, he actually officiated my wedding. I guess I had the foresight that he would be a great speaker, and I had to do that. I don't know, it's hard to pick one. That's honestly what I miss the most, is just being in those quarterback meetings with those guys, just, you know, hanging out, talking football. So crazy as it sounds, I actually miss playing that much. I more miss just being with a group of guys and hanging out.
I got a follow-up fan, you visited all, you know, the other NFL teams, which fan base, you know, Seattle always ranked as the loudest house in the NFL. Which opposing fans can they really support their team?
Yeah, I would agree. I think Seattle, I remember going into the week we played there, this is another one that irks me too. So we went to Seattle, I took over the starting quarterback, and we were 0-7, we go to Russell, the starter, it's my rookie year. So I'm like, oh, because just everything. We get up. It's either 14 or 21. So it was reversed. Ends up taking it back. But that was probably the loudest stadium. Played in Kansas City. It's probably the closest to a college atmosphere. Everyone's tailgating before the game. Their fans are loud. I always love going to Minnesota. Full stadium. They do that whole skull chant where they clap their hands before the game. Great place. Lambeau, Green Bay. You feel the history kind of when you walk in. It just feels like you're stepping back in time. I mean, Green Bay is like a time machine. It doesn't seem like anything's been built there since 1970. But their fans are great. Where else? I mean, those are the ones that stick.
Great stuff.
Mike, thank you so much. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you for a wonderful speaker. Thank you for sharing your journey with us and all those amazing stories. We have a small token of our appreciation. I know you've visited other Rotary clubs as well. Yeah. Will you be willing to stick around to autograph a few things? Great. I know we have a big Wolfpack contingent, and as Tom said, you're willing to. All right, another round of applause for Mike. All right, Rotarians and friends, if you could stand and join me in the four-way test. And the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Is it beneficial to all concerned? Meeting's adjourned.